It's difficult to define popular culture. It's existed for a very long time. Its interaction spans the globe. A common reaction to its meaning is the culture most of us share. A culture built upon a variety of media: films, novels, novels of the graphic nature, anime, manga, other games, and other platforms. Although don't confuse pop culture and youth culture. They're very different, I swear. It's why definitions are extremely important. Youth culture is the ever-changing culture based on the relevancy of what is currently popular. Unlike pop culture, which has more of a ratchet effect, if educators took this idea into consideration, they'd realize if, for example, using a song to convey a concept or a theme, any earlier generation would think to use Aha's Take On Me, when Uptown Funk would seem more appropriate given the relevancy. Pop culture can be used within a classroom in a beneficial way. Students become more engaged when they can bring pop culture into the classroom, or when the teacher uses relevant pop culture in lessons. An example of increased engagement as well as enjoyment was observed when popular culture was used in conjunction with a Year 9 English class. The use of pop culture can also be used to increase students' attentiveness and willingness to learn. It allows for lessons to be more accessible and ties education to real-world experiences. Comics and Japanese manga can also be used to improve language skills, as the use of both images and pictures can reinforce the language skills being taught. The use of pop culture in the classroom can also have negative consequences. Some students may feel out of touch when presented with certain pop culture. This feeling can lead to feeling ostracized, which for students who are already being bullied or excluded could make the lessons inaccessible or lead to lower engagement. Pop culture is also constantly changing, and so the need to catch up and stay on top of it may lead to anxiety, similar to how students engage with social media. Pop culture also changes between regions and even schools based on the demographic of the student population. Pop culture could also lead to the class becoming distracted and not focusing on the associated lesson content. Thus, this means teachers would not be able to have a movie, video, or some form of pop culture that all students can engage with. Secondly, with some types of pop culture can be viewed by students outside the school, some types of content might not be suitable to show inside of the school environment. The benefits, however, defiantly outweigh the consequences. Pop culture use in the classroom, if the right material is used, can increase classroom engagement to above 80% and associated tasks being handed in on time. The use of pop culture can also engage otherwise disengaged students, but relating concepts that they think have no relation to the pop culture that matters to them. An example of this being seen in how hip-hop can be used with students that typically pay little attention to class. Thirdly, it can be used by teachers to build better relationships with their students, allowing them to approach them about other topics if needed. Popular culture, while not easy to define, is distinctly different from youth culture. There are many numerous benefits to using pop culture within the classroom's environment, especially in secondary school settings. This is not to say that popular culture does not have any negative consequences that can impact students. The benefits, however, far outweigh the negative consequences. Future research areas for the use of pop culture in the classroom could include its validity to be used in rural areas, how it's used within high indigenous population schools, and if access to popular culture is impacted by socioeconomic status.